Are you selling branded items when in reality you have no brand? So I have seen dozens and dozens of Etsy shops who are selling usually print-on-demand items, hats, totes, t-shirts, sweatshirts that are a solid color with maybe their brand name or their slogan slapped on the front of it. And boom, the brand is their design. And these shops have no sales. Surprise. So in today's video, I'm going to dive into some of the biggest mistakes with branding on Etsy. And I'm going to talk about how to fix these mistakes and how to actually grow your brand to be something that people actually care about. So let's jump into it. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dylan Jarvis, and I am an Etsy shop owner of about 7 years now. I've sold $1.5 million in revenue on the platform, and that is over $1 million in profit. I also sell on Amazon and Shopify, and my entire background is in corporate e-commerce. And now I teach Etsy sellers just like you how to grow their businesses to become multi-six figures in revenue and profit. And I work with hundreds of Etsy sellers to do this. So if you're curious about how that is going and what their results are, definitely check in the description. You'll see a link that says student testimonials or student results, and you can check out what kind of results my students are seeing with my methods. If you are interested in being part of that, just reach out on Instagram at Dylan Jarvis or email team@dylanjarvis.com and we'll get you in. But in today's video, we are going to talk about branding, specifically branding on Etsy. So building a brand on Etsy is a huge opportunity because unlike platforms like Amazon, Etsy really gives you, the seller, tools to build your brand. There's so many opportunities in the customer experience to build your brand. And this is something you really don't want to mess up. So lately, I have been seeing a big influx in new Etsy shops who are building a brand new business, and their idea is to create items with a slogan or maybe their brand name all over their items. And usually it's with print on demand. So how does this play out? Well, it usually doesn't play out very well because usually these are words or brand names that I've never actually heard of as a brand. So basically the brand name or the slogan has no meaning to anyone because they've never heard of it. And they really have no idea what it means or what it stands for. So when a brand name or a brand's slogan has no meaning to a customer, then it has no value. And I started to notice some really common threads between the shops that this happens to. And usually this happens when the seller or the shop owner is very passionate about the idea. They are very invested in thinking about the idea, creating the idea, and building the vision for this brand. They're very visionary, and in their mind, they have big, big plans for this brand, and they've created a really intricate brand story. So in short, it's really been a lot of thinking, tons of thinking that they put into this before they've ever even made a dime. So in short, the brand is really their baby. They've put so much time and energy into thinking about this, sometimes even money, and it means a lot to them. And oftentimes they believe so much in this potential brand that they've already filed trademarks for that maybe word or phrase that is their brand or slogan. And they do all of this before they've made any money. And that really is the common thread with a lot of those Etsy shops that have gotten themselves into this position where they're selling all this branded stuff, but the brand has no meaning yet, and therefore they're not seeing sales. And I think what might be happening is they see examples of other big brands that are doing it, like Nike and Adidas and Chanel, and even brands like Life is Good. And they see these brands doing it and selling items with a brand name or slogan all over it, and they think, oh, why can't I do that? And a really big reason why we can't just do that is because oftentimes this is a print-on-demand product. It's not, the top-notch Lululemons of the world. It's kind of a mediocre product. It's the same product that everyone else is selling. And in a way, these, t-shirts and mugs, it's kind of commoditized. So when you have a mediocre product and no following, having a brand name on it is not enough of a value proposition to get sales. And really the problem is the brand has no value. I don't know about you, but sometimes people would rather wear just, a plain colored t-shirt with nothing on it versus a plain colored t-shirt with a random brand name on it that means nothing to them. Actually, I'm really curious. I would love for you to leave a comment down below. Would you rather wear a plain colored t-shirt, or would you rather wear a plain colored t-shirt with a brand name on it that you have no idea what the brand is, what it means, anything? Which one would you rather wear? Now I'm going to be really curious to see what you guys say. So if this is your shop and you have created an Etsy shop filled with products branded with your brand name or your slogan and you have no sales, don't worry. there's things we can do, but I would not be sitting and waiting. So I'm going to go through 3 things that I would do if this is your shop to kind of get yourself unstuck, because sitting and waiting would be kind of the beginning of the end here. So let's turn things around. So number 1, I would make sure that less than 10% of your product mix is actually branded items. Heck, I would probably say 2% or less of your items have the brand name on them. But instead, I would really identify who you are selling to. So customer first, product second, and then have at least at minimum 90% of your shop filled with items that have either designs or sayings or words that would mean something to the customer that you are trying to build a brand for and around. And the reason I say build the brand around is because brands are really built for and around people. If there are no interested people, there is not a profitable brand. So focus on specific people and serving them with meaningful designs and sayings instead of focusing on yourself and your brand name. Okay, so step number 2, once you get to around 5,000 orders, not dollars, but orders, and once you're seeing repeat business as well as growing the number of multi-item orders, then I would consider potentially putting your brand name on things, but only if your customers have an interest in that. And how do you know if they have an interest in it? Put a poll on Instagram. If you have no Instagram following, that alone is a sign you should not be putting your brand name or slogan all over things and hoping it sells. So at this point, you should have enough of an engaged Instagram following to where you can actually put a poll out there and get customer feedback. So put a poll out there, throw your brand name on some t-shirts or whatever you were thinking, and see if anyone is interested before you take the time and energy to add this to your product mix. So if you start to brand your items too early and too soon, maybe too aggressively, you're really going to shoot yourself in the foot. And it's kind of like taking 1 step forward, maybe 100 steps back. And the customers that you have acquired might just start to feel like, oh, this person cares more about themselves, their brand, their image than us, their customers. The third step I would do when building a brand on Etsy is to really cultivate that relationship with your customers outside of Etsy. And I would do this primarily through Instagram, but you could also consider doing things like YouTube or a podcast. So even with YouTube, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to create YouTube videos? That is not at all me. You could just repurpose your reels on Instagram for YouTube shorts. You should also be repurposing that for TikTok. Now, maybe you're asking, how do I cultivate a following on these other channels? I would really be focusing at least 80% on lifestyle content. So show some things that are kind of reality, behind the scenes, relatable content for your customers. I would have 20% or less of the content be about your products. Something else you need to create is a little bit of FOMO effect, and that is the fear of missing out. You want your followers to know that other followers are buying your stuff. So that means, yes, giving shout outs to your customers when they order things. That means showing them sneak peeks of their orders. I want you to go over to my Instagram at Dylan Jarvis. Okay, follow me over there and watch my stories. So you'll notice every time I have new students join my program, Multi-Six-Figure Etsy Blueprint, I welcome them. I'm building that community. I'm building that excitement around someone joining the program and getting started with their Etsy journey. Same with my business Instagram. So on my business Instagram, I post sneak peeks of customer orders and I say, so-and-so, your order is shipping today. I'll do a thank you post. Thank you for your orders. And then I'll list like the 25 people that ordered that day. I'll do things like that to really share with the rest of the followers that you have that, yes, other people are engaged, other people are interested, other people are enjoying it. So when you have a business on Etsy and you're working on building that brand, you want to create that cult-like following in that community. So that happens with what you post. You don't want to be so focused on the product. You really want to be focused on things that are relatable, things that are about your customers, things that are for your customers. So those are just 3 things that you can do when you are building your brand on Etsy. But if you are in a situation where you feel like, oh no, my branding is awful, or oh no, I've totally missed the mark, or I don't even know what branding to go with, or what is branding, or maybe you feel like, oh my goodness, I've created a brand and no one cares. Just reach out to me. You can get to me on Instagram at Dylan Jarvis. Just send me a message or email team@dylanjarvis.com. And I would love to talk to you, kind of hear what your vision was for your brand, what it is for your brand, and we can come up with a plan together to kind of turn things around. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. I love making content for you guys, and seeing that little subscribe number go up makes me feel like you're enjoying it and like, all the time and hard work is worth it. So thanks so much. I'll see you in the next video.